headquarters here in Hollywood, where we've been doing this show for more than 22 years. You know, when you work at a big company like we do from time to time, you have to go to an HR meeting where they tell you not to grab each other or tell your coworkers you had a dream about them and then just smile a little and stare. Keep the creeps in line. So anyway, we had one of these. We had a mandatory, regularly scheduled all-staff HR meeting on Zoom. They did it on Zoom. And this is the Zoom. And if you look closely, you can see Guillermo. Zoom in on that, on the Zoom, if you could. Fast asleep. Just sound asleep and maybe in bed. Are you in bed there?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't, having an HR meeting in bed is in and of itself an HR violation, I think.
Not for me, Jimmy.
So, how was it? Did you learn anything?
I don't think I learned anything, yeah. It was okay, but I didn't learn nothing.
You know what we could do?
What?
We'll get you another one. We'll sign you up. Maybe we'll get you on, I think Shark Tank is having one.
No, I'm okay, Jimmy, I'm okay.
We get you and Robert Herjavec can have an HR meeting together.
No, I'm okay, Jimmy. Maybe,
you sure?
Yeah, maybe next year. I'm okay right now.
You know, the last time Guillermo got caught sleeping on the job, I hired him to be my security guard.
Yeah.
So it's my fault. Donald Trump was supposed to be in Canada today, where he is not exactly the belle of the ball. Trump is about as popular in Canada right now as the Florida Panthers, but the president was there for the G7 summit. He decided to cut out a day early. Poor Melania, she thought she had one more night. President Macron of France said Trump bailed to help broker a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. For whatever reason, that rubbed Trump the wrong way. He was angry. He wrote, publicity-seeking President Emmanuel Macron of France mistakenly said that I left the G7 summit in Canada to go back to D.C. to work on a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. Wrong. He has no idea why I'm now on my way to Washington, but it certainly has nothing to do with a ceasefire. Much bigger than that, whether purposely or not. Emmanuel always gets it wrong. Stay tuned. like it's the season finale of Celebrity Apprentice or something. It's not a ceasefire. It's much bigger than that. Maybe a bowel movement? I don't know. By the way, Trump calling another president publicity-seeking is like Diddy calling you a bad boyfriend. The president has been live truthing his diplomacy attempts in real time. He wrote, I have not reached out to Iran for peace talks in any way, shape, or form. This is just more highly fabricated fake news. If they want to talk, they know how to reach me. That's right. If Iran wants to reach Trump, all they have to do is give him a $400 million plane, and he will talk to them all they want. Trump spent the afternoon guzzling Diet Cokes in the Situation Room trying to figure this out. He's in a tough spot because the American military right now is busy guarding all the Waymos here in downtown L.A. So they don't... A couple of days ago, Trump suggested that his buddy Vlad Putin broker the ceasefire in the Middle East, which is a great idea. You know the guy who won't agree to a ceasefire? Let's have him work on the ceasefire. And while you're at it, have Nick Cannon grab me a box of condoms, too, huh? I mean, after Trump, after Trump announced he would delay sanctions on Russia because he truly believed that Putin wants peace with Ukraine, Russia immediately bombed Kiev, killing 15 people, including an American citizen. Remember when we used to be against that? Russia killing American citizens? This guy is all over the map, especially when it comes to foreign policy, but he has been put in that big fat Sharpie to use. Before he skipped town, he had a joint press conference with the Prime Minister of the UK, which he accidentally called the EU, to tout a new, big, beautiful trade deal.
We all know the great Prime Minister of the UK, and we just signed a document. This is, sorry about that. This is it.
A very important document.
A little windy out here. Give me that. We just signed it, and it's done.
Yeah, and that isn't the perfect metaphor for Trump's economic policy. By the way, it was not windy. He just blows. That's what happened. What a position. Imagine being the leader of another country and having to deal with him, having to bend over to pick up the papers he drops. I think this might be why he got so mad at Macron. So look at, here he is at the table at the G7 checking out the lunch menu or something. That's the Prime Minister of Italy, Giorgia Meloni, talking to Macron, who's the president of France. And watch here. I don't know what happens, but look at that. That had to be about him, right? I mean... Trump has a lot on his little plate right now, but what he's especially upset about is his bummer of a birthday parade. Of course, he says publicly he thought it was great, but according to Michael Wolff, who's written a number of books about Trump, he called Pete Hegseth to ream him for getting the tone of the parade all wrong. He blames Pete Hegseth for not sending the message he wanted to send with the parade, which makes sense, as we all know, Pete Hegseth is not good at sending messages. Wolff said Trump wanted to show that he was the commander of a menacing enterprise, which, in fairness to Pete Hegseth, it's hard to come off like Darth Vader when you're actually Darth Drafty Vader. And, you know, we learned from he's making a lot of money from his most recent financial disclosure that last year, Trump made more than $600 million from his crypto, from his golf clubs, from his Bibles, his guitars, his licensing fees. And now there's talk that he will be selling an Instant Pot. That's right. The folks at Instant Pot are working on a special 45-47 Trump edition Instant Pot. They're calling this the most embarrassing thing Trump has put his name on since Don Jr. I mean, of all the things, does anyone think Donald Trump has ever touched an Instant Pot? I bet he's touched Melania more than he's touched an Instant Pot. And what is this going to do to their brand? Are people going to be keying their neighbors' Instant Pots now, too? You know, we make fun of Trump. We keep saying he wants to be Kim Jong-un. Maybe what he really wants is to be Martha Stewart. I mentioned last night he's also selling Trump brand mobile phones now. Their website, Trump Mobile, was a mess from the get-go. When they launched yesterday, their coverage map said Gulf of Mexico instead of Gulf of America, so he had them take that down. There have been reports that it is difficult to even order the phone, and even though they're billing the phones as all-American and made in the USA, the phone appears to be a reskinned version of a Chinese phone made by a company called Wingtech. Wingtech sells the same phone on Amazon for $171 right now, but once it gets spray-painted gold and emblazoned with the word Trump, it's $500. He's selling an all-American Chinese phone. I wonder if he'll slap some tariffs on himself for this. I don't know. I just want you to imagine Barack Obama, while he was in office, selling something like this, okay? Do you think Fox News would be excited about that? The brains behind this operation are Tweedle, DJ, TJ, and Eric, who are doing their best to dance around the claim that these phones are in any way American-made.
We decided to do it, a product that will ultimately be made in America, by Americans, serviced by Americans, customer service in America out of St. Louis, Missouri. You're not talking to somebody in India. You're not talking to somebody in Bangladesh. They're not stealing your personal information. And they all say that products can't be manufactured in America. They can.
But this one isn't. And as if this wasn't already ridiculous enough, listen to what Daddy Donald said on the way home from the G7.
What can you do in Washington that you couldn't do in Canada?
Just be a little bit, I think, more well-versed. Not having to use telephones so much, because I don't believe in telephones.
One day after launching his own phone, he doesn't believe in telephones. Boy, he really doesn't want to take Eric's calls, does he? Have you ever seen Trump try to use a phone? He's like a crow with an iPad, just like staring at it with his head cocked, pecking away, hoping that like a snack comes out of it or something. But that ain't gonna stop him from selling one.
Say goodbye to woke mobile plans and say hello to the Trump phone, the only phone with hair. Trump phones are proudly stickered, made in the USA, with exclusive perks like accidental war plan alerts from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. No 5G mind control here. Trump phone operates entirely on string, with so many exclusive, expensive kiss the ringtones.
Bing, bing, bong, bong, ka-ching, ching.
Don't sleep on this deal like that dead evil robot Joe Biden. Order your Trump mobile phone today. Trump Mobile may sell your data to China, Russia, hackers, scammers, and/or a 13-year-old Doge employee nicknamed Nanonuts. Text messaging rates apply. Phones may explode.
Give me cash, just give me money.
Sign me up. You know, we have a new pope, and at the Vatican yesterday, there was a meeting between the Holy Father, Pope Leo, and the Godfather, Al Pacino, was at the Vatican. You know, there's a lot of tough stuff going on in the world right now, but it does make me happy to know that at some point in his life, the Pope probably owned the movie Scarface on Blu-ray, right? We also learned today that Henry Louis Gates, the host of Finding Your Roots, traced the Pope's family tree. And get this, Pope Leo is part black and related to Madonna. So not only is he the first American Pope, he's also the first Pope who can dance. For inspiration. You know, the Pope, not just Madonna, the Pope is related to Justin Bieber, Angelina Jolie, and Hillary Clinton. This guy's full of surprises. First he's American, then he's a White Sox fan, now he's related to Hillary Clinton and Justin Bieber. Tomorrow we're gonna find out he's Jewish. Summer is almost upon us. For a lot of kids, this is the last week of school. And this is fun. A kindergarten teacher in Alberta, Canada, her name's Ms. Gill. She did a cute thing. She shot video of herself trying to identify her students using only the sound of their voices.
Bria.
Hi, Miss Gill.
Gabby.
Hi, Miss Gill.
Aspen.
Hi, Miss Gill.
Sarah.
Hi, Miss Gill.
Go again.
Hi, Miss Gill.
Oh my gosh, one more time.
Hi, Miss Gill.
Theo.
Oh my gosh, you did great.
Well done, Miss Gill. I mean, that's pretty good. I thought it would be fun to do that here with some of my staff at the show. We've been working together for a long time, more than just a year. So we lined everyone up behind me, and well, here's how I did.
Hi, Jimmy.
Pass.
Hi, Jimmy.
No idea.
Hi, Jimmy.
Gavin?
No.
I don't know.
Hi, Jimmy.
Next.
Hi, Jimmy.
No.
Hi, Dad.
Steven?
No, it's Kevin.
Right, Kevin, I got that one.
No, you didn't.
Hi, Jimmy.
No idea.
Hi, Jimmy.
Say it again?
Hi, Jimmy.
I know this.
I'll give you a hint.
No, don't give me a hint. I know this one. Say something else.
You're a dumbass.
Mom? Mom.
You really are a dumbass.
Oh, Guillermo.
You sucks at this game, Jimmy.
I sucks. I sucks. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I am going to update you in full on the multi-million-dollar lawsuit against this curious gentleman seen here in a claw machine. That the latest on the MyPillow man, Mike Lindell. After this, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Deborah, Science, Bob, and music from The Offspring are on the way. But first, as promised, we have a long-awaited verdict in the MyPillow case, the multi-million-dollar defamation case against our friend Mike Lindell. If you've not been following this as closely as I have, because you have normal interests, I will catch you up. Mike has been one of Donald Trump's most hardcore election deniers. He seems to be the only one who actually believes 2020 was stolen from Trump. Even Trump doesn't believe this, but Mike does. He claimed the voting machines were rigged, and even though there is no credible evidence whatsoever to support that idea, he just kept repeating it until eventually he got sued by a former executive at Dominion Voting Machines. Eric Coomer claimed Lindell ruined his reputation by publicly calling him a traitor, which upset him almost as much as his lawyer upset Mike when he said his pillows are lumpy.
Okay, and I'm not asking about the lumpy pillow calls.
No, they're not lumpy pillows. That's not what they call on. Okay? When you say lumpy pillows, now you're an You got that? You're an is what you are. No, he's a he's an ambulance chasing. That's what you are. Lumpy pillows, kiss my ass.
Very sexy when he's angry. So anyway, as you can see, that really set him off. So much so, he could not stop repeating it.
This is the same lawyer that in the deposition called my pillows lumpy. And I got very upset with the attorneys because he said our pillows are lumpy. This is the same lawyer that called my pillows lumpy. They tried to say, look, he's an angry Christian when we call his pillows lumpy. You're calling my pillow a lumpy pillow. Or your pillows are lumpy. He knows they're good pillows and they're not lumpy. My lumpy pillow? Mike Lindell sells lumpy pillow. Remember that one? Not because people think my pillows are lumpy, I'll tell you that. You know, remember that one, Steve? The old lumpy pillow guy. Calling them lumpy pillows. They're not lumpy, everybody. They're beautiful.
Come on, you can be beautiful and lumpy. It's how I describe myself. So they went to trial, and for the last 2 weeks, cameras were not allowed inside the courtroom, but Mike gave us plenty to work with from outside.
I think he was a math teacher, a high school math teacher. Boy, what if he'd have lost $40 million? Mike used promo code jury. You say, okay, I'll give you this or whatever. It was the most secure election ever. It was the most secure election ever. And the election wasn't even done yet. So it was drowned in the news. I seen it, though. A computer error. Trusted Bill. Mike didn't learn a thing. He still calls people traitor. That's you being a traitor. You will be a traitor. You're a traitor. Come and grab my pillow. You're going, okay, that's weird. We got a runner. That's what they want to suppress. It ain't happening. What's that?
And I do want to point out that's after he stopped smoking crack, okay? So yesterday the verdict came in. The jury found Mike guilty of defamation and awarded the plaintiff $2.3 million. But don't tell that to Mike, because like Donald Trump in the election, he seems to believe he won this one.
As far as myself, they said there was defamation. She said you did commit defamation. 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 MyPillow is 100% vindicated. No defamation. It's the first victory. 100% victory. I think it's a great victory. It was a great victory. What a great victory. MyPillow won. We won. We won. That's a huge win. Big win. No, I'm not going to cut it. I'm sorry. My attorneys want me to cut it. No, this was a huge victory. Huge victory. Huge victory. Huge victory. Huge. We had a huge victory here with MyPillow. So are they going to apologize to MyPillow and start buying pillows? I don't know.
I doubt it. I bet they won't. They probably don't even know what defamation is. I know I have no idea. Now, here's the thing. This guy Coomer was originally seeking $62 million, but I guess Mike must have had one hell of a promo code up his sleeve because he got it down to $2.3 million. Unfortunately, he doesn't seem to have any money at all. During the trial, Mike testified that his net worth is currently $10 million in the hole, which means Coomer might have to settle for a bunch of empty pillowcases and dog beds.
So then it goes back to my attorney, and he says, Your Honor, he goes, I can attest to Mike has no liquid cash. He doesn't have money. I said, I don't have any liquid cash going around. Did I tell him I didn't have any liquid cash? Of course I did. I think everyone in the country knows that.
Well, if we didn't then, we do now, for sure. But here's the thing about Mike Lindell. He really is a success story. He's a self-made guy. You know, when he started this pillow business, he had no money. He was a gambling addict. He was smoking crack. He was a complete mess and somehow managed to become a very wealthy person before going crazy and losing it all. But he did it once, and I believe that he will overcome this liquid cash problem he has and do it all over again.
Are you like me? Do you have a ton of cash hidden in jars and booby-trap crawl spaces? I got 60 G's festering in a haunted bog out by the airport, but the courts don't recognize that as liquid cash. That's why I comed up with this one, Mike Lindell's Liquid Cashifier. Bill Liquidator, and I ain't got a name for it yet, but it blends up money real good into a thick juice. Watch how easy. I just take a fistful of greenbacks I had stashed up in an owl's nest. But a word of advice, make sure the owl ain't home because I got scritched up real good. Oh, you just take your money, you throw it in my patented loot chute, and then you add whatever liquids you got laying around. Today I'm using half a pot of Sanka and a can of 10W40, huh? Now you just hook up the boat battery with the included 2 jumper cables. One goes on your belt to ground it, and then you get it. Fire in the hole! Whoa. And voila! Pure liquid moolah. You just dump it out into a shopping bag, take it to the bank, and they have to accept it as legally tender. Ooh. Mike Lindell's Liquid Money Doohickey. Order now, please. Buy a bunch of the crap. Don't make me start crying again. I don't want to die in the hoosh now.
Well, we're all pulling for you, Mike. Guillermo, do you know how many subscribers we have on YouTube now?
20 million.
That's right. Yeah, that's why we're wearing these glasses. Thanks for being a subscriber. If you're not, help us get to 20,000,001.